Okay. I'm sorry. So you, Miss Olive, how do you prefer to be called? Miss Olive?
Olive. Olive.
And, and you've had this CrosMedica for 5 years already, right?
Yes, yes. We started January of 2015.
And you just told us it's been very stressful this past since the COVID lockdown started because what happened?
Because I have to think of the welfare of my staff and also how the business will run. Considering that there will be or less patients ang na-accommodate namin because there's no means of transportation. But somehow throughout the lockdown or during the quarantine, the ECQ, we were having a lot of patients because there's no diagnostic clinic that's open. We decided to open up during the quarantine kasi aside from the in-house or what we call the outpatient or the patients that come in, we also have clients. We do laboratory work for other clinics and for other hospitals. So definitely, since a lot of business or a lot of clinics were closed during the quarantine period, somehow we were able to provide them laboratory services. But the problem is, syempre, di ba sa business, you have to weigh things. Yung expenses and whatever income is coming. So sometimes, instead of having my staff work full day, I just ask them to work half day lang. Because I have to balance things eh. I have to pay the supplier, I have to pay their salary. So, stressful because some of my staff don't really understand what's happening. All the while, they were thinking na porket may pumapasok na pasyente or they're bringing in some specimens from other clinics, they're thinking that it's okay na, normal na. But they are not seeing things yung dun sa side ng management.
Big picture.
And, yeah, it's hard to please
the business
them.
side of it. They don't see how the business is run from behind.
Yes, and that's what I'm telling them. This business is not just para sa amin. It's for everybody. So whatever decisions that we made during the quarantine or prior to quarantine, it's all about how we will save CrosMedica. Kasi lahat kami will depend on CrosMedica. As much as possible, I want to give in to their needs, personal needs. Kasi siyempre, sasabihin nila, may pamilya ako. Gusto ko rin sabihin, may pamilya din ako. Aside from my family, I have CrosMedica family. I have to think of the welfare of everybody na lahat kahit paano hindi mawawalan. But some of my staff don't understand that.
Yeah. But I imagine business must be... Oh, do you have a question, Ms. Rachel?
No, kasi I've known Olive since high school. And well, don't worry, I won't go too far back. Hindi tayo pupunta doon, Olive. Kasi I don't know if James is familiar, pero Olive is a dentist by profession. So yun yung originally we know her as a dentist. And now you're talking about your CrosMedica business and you're sounding so parang businesswoman ka na talaga. So I was just thinking while listening to you, did you have any background in business? Did you take any short course on how to run a business? Kasi suddenly you're sounding like a very experienced, seasoned businesswoman, knowing that she's a dentist by profession.
Actually, what I'm just applying right now for CrosMedica was how I handled my dental clinic before. But it's more of, I think it's just being street smart, not literally knowing everything about the business. Meron mga pa nga sila sinasabi, did you do your feasibility study? Ano yun? But what I'm doing is I'm just trying to balance. Kung ano yung pumapasok, yun lang din ang hahatiin ko. And when we were starting, siyempre, alam ko, di ba sa lahat naman, we were not getting anything. Kumbaga, I just let it run on a daily basis. Tapos, kung if ever na we still need to add up funds, that's what we're doing. And somehow, nalampasan naman namin. Kasi Rachel, wala akong alam sa business. Ang alam ko lang when I graduated is to do dental treatment. Pero short courses, online courses, wala ako eh.
Pero marami kang maloloko. Marami kang maloloko with the way you're explaining your business para talaga.
It's all about experience. Whatever I am providing or whatever I am selling, it's all about experience.
But you know that most, well, not, I shouldn't say most, a lot of the business people, very successful business people I know, don't have any experience in business. It's like, I don't know any professional writers who took up writing or professional owners of restaurants who took up cooking. I mean, some did, but I also know a lot who did not.
I like what you said about being street smart. Just using common sense.
Yes.
Just being smart about it.
Yes.
Yeah, but before we started with CrosMedica, I started. I had a laboratory some early 2000, wherein I really didn't know anything. What I know, I have friends who will supply me with the things that I'm going to need, help me with the things that I'm going to use. But the problem was, yung naging kapartner ko was, niloko ako.
Oh.
So sabi ng aking partner before, okay, kung ganyan, tigil na. Even my mom, that's what she told me. Wag ka na makikipartner, ganyan. So, it took a while, okay, before I can convince yung sinep, yung partner ko na kasi sabi niya sa akin when he retired, ano ba yung business na pwede natin pagkasunduan? He was planning to put up a maliit siguro restaurant or even a karinderya. Kasi yun yung medyo feasible dito sa area namin. Kasi maraming jeepney drivers, maraming mga workers dito. Sabi ko, ayokong yan kasi parang hindi ko naiintindihan. Saka ang hirap, gigising ka ng madaling araw, you go to the market, prepare things, and you really need to find the right person to cook para lang makompensate mo lahat and to earn, di ba? So finally, sabi niya, sige, let's try it, ito ng diagnostic. And somehow, nung una, alam ko, pinipilit niya mag-cope up. And until now naman, we're still trying to cope up kung ano yung demands and challenges na we are encountering with the diagnostic clinic.
I would think that your business would be booming. You said you only had some people coming in, but I thought if you're the only clinic that's open, wouldn't everyone flock to you?
Actually, the problem during the quarantine was how they will get dun sa clinic or how yung transportation. But somehow we were able to manage. I even went to the point na kasi most of my patients that comes in are pregnant women. So they have to walk miles or ilang kilometers just to get into the clinic. And what I'm doing na lang just to make them happy or just to appease kasi napapagod eh. You'll be seeing them sweating all over dahil sa haba na nila. At summertime pa ang init, diba? So what I'm telling them, okay, once you're done with your procedure, just give us your address and contact number. Naghahatid kami ng resulta. I just ask them to go home. Instead of waiting, I ask them to go home already and we will just deliver all their results. Or sometimes, if they have the email address, we email the results. Or, since I know the doctors, yung mga nagre-request, what I'm doing, instead of delivering the results to the patient, I deliver the results to the doctor para yung patient, by the time na magkaroon na siya ng appointment with the doctor, all her results are with the doctor already.
Okay.
So it seems that you're doing half. Kasi what I have in mind is house calls, doing house calls. It seems you're doing half of that. Like from the results onwards, delivery na. Pero have you done or will you consider doing house calls? Like
Yes,
the
we do
desk
house calls.
itself. Oh, okay. Para
As,
hindi na sila magkakaproblema papunta. So why
that's
don't they
only
avail of that?
applicable, yes, but that's only applicable for laboratory. For the 2D echo, for
Okay,
the
yeah.
ultrasound, ECG, we could also have home service.
Mm.
Problema lang talaga is the ultrasound. Because
So,
people now, they don't want to go to the hospital to have their diagnostics done. So, ang option nila is to go to diagnostic clinic.
and then you have doctors on staff also who interpret the results, or they go somewhere else?
No, their doctor will do the interpretation.
Okay.
We have a doctor who will do the interpretation. Then, it's all printed out, yung images and the interpretation of the doctor.
So how long were you yes, Rachel, you first?
Hindi, kasi she mentioned most of their patients are pregnant women. Does it have anything to do with your location na cross labor
Dapat yung
hospital?
labor?
Oo, yun ba ang dahilan nun?
Hindi rin. Kasi siguro marami lang talagang nabubuntis. Kaya ang dami kong pasyente.
Dahil
Pero
sa quarantine yan.
prior to quarantine, ang patients namin for ultrasound before, sometimes we're reaching 60 patients a day.
Wow.
Just for the ultrasound.
You know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say maybe because of the COVID, everyone's home quarantine. Maybe that's why there's an increase in pregnancy. But no, this is too soon. This is too soon.
Other
9
than
months
that,
from now.
the location was was a big factor also. Because before, when we started with CrosMedica, we were just located ilang blocks away from dun sa hospital. But when I saw there's a vacant place or vacancy dun sa tapat ng hospital, kasi when I'm in any decision, okay, before I make a final decision, I have to study first everything. Kung kakayanin ba, or will it be do I have the enough the funds to suffice for whatever yung magiging expenses, kasi medyo pricey yung location namin ngayon compared to what we had before. So, what we did, little by little, nung medyo nakikita ko na okay, medyo kaya na natin, sige, di ba, business naman talaga is a gamble. Sige, subukan natin. And it did well nung nag-transfer kami. Kasi before, when we were still located at Calansao, the outpatients that we had, nakakatawa nga isang urinalysis, 2, 3 sa isang araw. How can we survive? Pero kaya lang, it's very hard for me to move out kagad without even thinking or napag-aralan ko na kaya na namin. But when I saw it na kinakaya na, tapos vacant yung place, kasi before we started with Calansao, I already saw that place But when I asked how much, natakot ako sa presyo. So, sabi ko, sige, next time na lang. And finally, dumating yon after 3 years. 3 years ba? 2 or 3 years. Na medyo nagiging stable na. Kaya ginrab na rin namin yung bagong location.
Was it the exact same location na nakita mo 3 years ago?
Yes.
Oh, it's really meant for you. Inintay ka talaga.
Ay, sana nga, ganon. Hindi, pero ano pa rin, grateful ako at malaki kasi na itulong nitong bagong location.
Okay. So how long were you a dentist before this? Because you said you were dentist first. So out of college, you went to dentistry, and how long did you practice?
I started practicing 1998. Then, first, nag-work muna ako with other dentists as associate dentist. Then, I had my training with AFP, yung Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tapos, nag-work ulit muna ako under a dentist. Then, medyo nakaka-cope up na. Nag-set up ako ng kliniko. I started yung kliniko sa bahay lang. And, somehow,
When was this?
maganda naman din. In my house.
Yeah, when?
This was,
Like after 5 years or something?
I graduated 97, passed the board 98. I think it's around 2000 or 2001 when I started
So,
my own clinic.
okay, okay. And then, but you said you said this CrossMedica was only up for 5 years.
Yes.
So,
After putting up my own clinic, one friend of mine referred me to a diagnostic clinic wherein I am the in-house dentist. And somehow I became friends with the medical technologies. That's why
mhm,
somehow from him, I was able to learn the ins and outs. Kasi whenever I'm talking to somebody, I try to get something. Yung kumbaga, I try to learn something from that person. Which
right.
somehow na invoke na kumbaga na na-absorb ko and in little by little, kaya ko to. Kaya natin to. That's how we started. Tapos noon, after the diagnostic clinic, nag-focus ako sa clinic ko. Tapos, yun yung nag-start na akong to put up my first medical laboratory na hindi nga lang maganda yung nangyari. Tapos noon, nag-practice lang ulit ako ng dentistry. Then, ayun na, tuloy-tuloy na.
What
Nag-aral, nagturo, tapos yung diagnostic clinic.
So what made you trust again? Because you said you got burned badly, you went back to dentistry, you did some teaching. So and your mom told you, hey, don't do that again. Your friends told you. So what made you decide? You know what? I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna try again. I'm going to open myself up again.
There came a point in my career wherein hindi kasi lahat naman ng tao are interested or who wanted to see a dentist. Most of the time, it's because na merong masakit, there's swelling, or may discomfort. That's the only time a patient, ang pasyente will remember, oh, I need to go to the dentist.
I'm guilty of
So,
that too.
there came to a point na medyo mabagal yung pasok ng patient. So, sabi ko, what are the other options na pwede kong gawin? So, somehow, doon pumasok si diagnostic. But, before, it was only a medical laboratory. Yung talagang gusto ko siya. And, after noon, nung na-set up na namin siya, unti-unti, what are the demands? Or ano ba ang kailangan pa natin? Ano ba yung usual na tinatanong at hinahanap natin? Little by little, nadagdagan yung diagnostics namin somehow. The only thing that I cannot do right now is x-ray because there's no enough space doon sa clinic.
I think one reason why she was able to restart or go back to having that was finding the right partner. Kasi di ba initially naloko ka nung partner mo. But now, your partner is your partner. Maybe the trust factor is there. And siguro that's one reason why you were able to recover from the heartbreak of the previous experience. Tama ba?
Yes, and I even started, dun sa second lab na sinet up namin, I think I started with the right people. Because I know these people before pa. So somehow, yun nga, trust factor.
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
think, yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Hindi, kasi, so, as we go with this discussion, one of the things that struck me initially was when Olive said, you have to be street smart. Ngayon, na-discover ko, hindi lang street smart, dapat malakas din yung loob mo. Ano bang tawag doon sa business, James? Meron bang term for that? Yung, sige, go lang. Wala kang masyadong reservations.
I think one common thing I see with a lot of business people are the risk takers. But it doesn't mean it's good because I've seen a lot of these risk takers. They don't pay off. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Actually, what's the probability? Like more than half of the small businesses fail within the first year. 80%, I think, fail within the first year. So,
which is what happened to her the first time, but look at her now.
Did you not? It was within the first year that it went crashing down.
Yung first mo, Olive.
Actually, if I'm going to assess, we were just even. Yung expenses and the income, parang even lang. So,
Okay.
from what I've heard from other people na nag-start up with the business, it's always like that.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes, mas mataas pa yung expenses mo with your earnings. So, siguro kinaya lang namin yung situation. Actually, we only started earning parang 3 years after.
Okay. So the first business was also profitable. It was profitable, except that there was a controversy.
I just had the wrong people.
There was a falling out with the partners.
Oh, then you should have just tried again right away. I mean, because then the problem wasn't the business. Because a lot of times when the business goes down, sometimes it's just a bad business model. Like when I came back, I wanted to open a video game center, and then my mom kind of pointed out, I don't think that business model would work here in the Philippines, and I think she was right. But if yours was profitable for the first after 3 years or break even the first year, I think it's something. It was really viable. Except they.
Siguro natakot lang din. Nandun din yung fear. Kahit na sabihin natin malakas ang loob ko. Nandun na yung takot. So, somehow, I just let it go muna. Tapos, siguro yung right times also, yun yung factor din doon.
Yeah, you needed time to heal siguro.
Yes. And after now, kailangan ko pa siyang balikan. Hindi ko pa siya napapalikan.
Siguro we shouldn't go back na to the past. Parang nare-relive ata. Sorry nare-relive by mga bad memories.
And may kailangan lang kami i-settle pa. Wala lang akong time.
Is the business, forgive me my asking, but is the business still around or it disappeared also? The original, the first one, yes.
Wala na pa.
I asked because another reason why businesses fail is because they don't really expect to succeed. So they don't arrange contracts or things like that. So it's actually in the contracts where they start having fights.
Actually, what happened during the first time, yung kapartner ko, she didn't really know yung setup that we really want to do. Nung na-realize niya na malaki yung income, biglang tinawagan na lang ako ng isang staff ko, wala na ho yung mga gamit natin. So that's how painful it is.
Yeah. Because like they don't expect it to succeed. When it succeeds, they just, I don't know, something happens to some people.
And now she's doing the business on her own.
Oh my goodness.
Olive, speaking of gamit, meron ka palang ultrasound, no? So you really need to invest on these machines and what have you. I just want an idea with regards to yung capital, yung ano.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, what do you call that? Give us a range of.
Are they the millions?
Yeah, how much capital you would
multi-millions?
We started for the laboratory alone. We started, I think it's 2.5. Pero yun yung mga small machines pa. But as we go along, doon namin na-realize na meron kaming mga suppliers wherein we can use the machine for free and just buy the reagents that we're going to use.
Oh, okay. Ambay
so, yun ganun daw talaga pala sa negosyong to.
Okay.
And as we went along dun sa proseso ng diagnostics namin, would you believe I didn't put out any down payment for my ultrasound machine? As in, wala.
Pero if you were to buy an ultrasound machine, how much would it cost?
The one that I'm using right now na pwede na rin for 2D echo, it's 1.7.
Wow.
I just got, ang ano ko lang is, swerte lang siguro, Rachel, James, kasi wala na akong in-out and I didn't even, kumbaga, self-liquidating. Whatever income we have for the day, nasisave ko na kagad yung babayaran ko dun sa machines. On yung sa monthly. So, wala akong inabonohan na yung sarili ko. Nung nabayaran namin yung machine, galing lang lahat talaga dun sa patient that we were doing.
So did you?
Well,
Are you saying?
okay lang.
Yeah. But you said that you didn't have to put any money down. So does this mean that they let you like mortgage it? It's like you're mortgaging the machine, no money down, or is it because they're selling the reagents? It's like, well, we won't make money from the machine, but we'll make money from the
The
equipment,
reagents, yes.
the reagents you're buying from us. And
But
so
for
maybe
the
they're
ultrasound, people just came in, submitted their proposal. I got interested in one machine. But in one company, when sinabi nila sa akin, okay, no down payment. You just need to divide the check, give us check for 36 months or 5 years. Hindi ko na maalala yung kontrata ko with them. So, whatever that other supplier said, in-apply ko dun sa ginusto kong machine. Natututo lang ako na hindi ko masabi na ina-apply ko lang kung ano yung pwede sa iba. Baka pwede doon. So, I was able to get the machine without any down payment.
So that's the street smart you're talking about. You have to be able to negotiate deals with machines. Otherwise, you're going to go bankrupt buying these machines straight off the bat.
Is it like the business model of Coke, where they will let you use their refrigerators for free?
Yes.
Pero you have to sell Coke products sa matindahan.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yes. Oo, ganun.
Ice cream freezer, you get to use the freezer for free from Selecta.
If you're going to sell Selecta product. Ganon siya. Which I didn't know when I was doing my practice in dentistry. Wala talaga. Kasi it's a different thing here eh.
There's also something similar. The printers do it, right? If you buy the printers, they're cheaper, but then the ink they make money from the ink. They sell the printer at a loss. They make money from the ink. But what they do here is you can buy like your own cheaper third-party ink.
Yeah, I use
Oh, you use that?
Sulit kaya, sulit. I would recommend it.
With us, dun sa laboratory, may mga medyo mura na reagents that we can use. But as we went along with this laboratory, I came to realize bakit ko ilalagay sa alanganin ang buhay ng isang tao by using a hindi magandang brand na mura, which I will earn a lot. So what we did, we are investing dun sa reagents na medyo mahal, but ang end point noon, wala akong nagiging reklamo with the patients or even the doctors who are requesting those laboratory tests.
You don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that's what you call integrity. That's what you call integrity.
Ang ano ko lang naman kasi, I always put myself dun sa position ng patient. What if sa akin mangyari yon? Which I don't want to happen.
Yeah. Our teachers will be very proud of you, Olive.
Some of them are my patients already.
Wow!
Nakikinig ka pala sa religion natin, saka good manners and right conduct.
Do they know you're the owner when they go there, or they're just surprised to see you there?
At first, they will come in as my patient for sa dental. Na makikita nila may setup doon ng CrosMedica, and I have this organizational chart wherein my face is there.
Can you send the picture of that?
So, yeah. Isa sa mga questions ko kay Olive. So, what do our teachers tell you when they see you now? What do they say about your achievements? How much you have achieved?
Actually, the only thing that they can say is, ano yun? Nagugulat sila. Just like with our batchmates. Diba? Knowing na, ay, si Olivia!
Hindi, kasi James, si Olive.
I get the impression that...
if I may just share with you.
I get the impression of something here.
She had a very colorful personality.
High school life.
Was she the troublemaker? Was she the one who got into trouble all the time for not listening and not following directions?
I was always absent.
That's also one of the common things I noticed. A lot of not all, but a lot of the people I know personally who are, successful business people are the nonconformists. They're the ones who don't like you'd be shocked, like him. Her? Are you sure? And because they were the ones who were troublesome or didn't study as much or was, got into fights or something.
Actually, during high school and early college, I really didn't enjoy studying. Parang for me, it's just a responsibility that I need to finish. I didn't realize what the importance of it eh. The problem is, nung nagkaroon na ako ng realization, gusto ko naman aral ng aral. Kasi nakakatuwa eh. I'm learning things na, ay ganun pala yun. Sometimes kasi, di ba, papasok ka sa school, nagturo si teacher, pero hindi siya nagsisink in eh. Pero as you go along, as you mature, doon mo nare-realize that tinuro pala yun. Pero...
Looking back, tinuro pala yun. On hindsight, tinuro pala yun.
Oh, they taught it without context. So sometimes if you learn something out of context, it doesn't sink in, right? It sinks in more when you see the point.
Natututo lang ako, I'm going to apply it.
Yes, exactly.
Pag nandun na ako sa application. Pero the theoretical side, parang, okay, maipasa na lang, matapos na lang natin ito. Pero mas nag-enjoy ako na nakikita ko na naia-apply ko siya. Same thing with, sa laboratory, nag-attend ako ng seminars nila, pinipilit ko rin i-apply. Even though, minsan nga, tinatanong kung medtech ako, kung hindi. Nagugulat na lang sila na I'm a dentist, na nandun ako.
So you don't practice dentistry anymore? Or you still do?
I stopped because of the... I'm still practicing, but I stopped during the quarantine, until now. Kasi, according to news and according to the studies, kami yung isa sa mga high risk to get the virus because of the aerosol generating procedures that we're doing.
So what's your plan?
Yeah.
I mean, is it gonna open soon, months from now, or are you gonna wait until this COVID thing blows over?
No, I started fixing or inayos ko yung clinic in such a way that the virus will just be contained, okay? And I'm still waiting for the delivery of additional machines in order to stop the spread of the aerosols that we are generating.
But
how do you probably? Yes.
But how would that work? For example, I would like to go to a dentist right now. I would go to you right now if you were open. But how would you stop the aerosol? Because I mean, we're in the same room. You're within reach of my mouth. I have my mouth open. How do we stop breathing the same air?
Okay.
What machine would you use?
Okay.
Because even if you have a shield, right?
So, a lot of changes has happened for us, not only for me, for all dentists. What we did, okay, first, we made our rooms negative pressured. Talagang naka-enclose, just like yung sa mga operating rooms sa hospital.
What's negative pressure?
1. 2, we have to get negative pressure. There's no air coming in.
Okay.
Kung meron man, kasi I have 2 exhaust fans in my clinic dun sa operatory area ko, wherein konti yung papasok na air and malakas yung air na lalabas. So that the room will become negative pressured. Okay. Para yung mga droplets or yung aerosols will just fall, hindi ko suspend. And other than that, I purchased 2 equipment, high-vac and extraoral aerosol vacuum. Kumbaga, ang logic nun, in order to stop na ma-spread yung aerosol, doon pa lang sa bibig, malakas na yung vacuum. That's 90% na already na ma-eliminate na maglabas yung aerosol. What about the 10%? Yung
you
10%,
have like a suction in the mouth.
Yeah. Di ba, there's already a suction built in doon sa dental chairs namin.
Yes.
But that's not enough. So we have to get a mas malakas pa na vacuum in order to reduce yung aerosols coming out from the mouth. And that's only 9%. And 90% na kaya niyang kuhanin. So meron pang 10%. So the 10%, I also have a machine wherein yung lumalabas pang konti, it's being suctioned by the extraoral aerosol vacuum machine.
So you have two vacuum
Sabihin na
machines.
natin, yes, one in and one out. And let's say, sabihin natin, meron pa rin. Yun na yung purpose ni negative pressure na room. Bababa na lang siya. And then after the patient, we just disinfect everything again.
So you're obviously spending a lot on all of these safety precautionary measures, following basic health protocols. So moving forward, will that affect the price points of your services and your professional fees? Paano mo mababawi? Paano mo mababawi yung investment mo sa ano?
Alam mo, Rachel, yun ang malaki ko pang concern kasi the reason why sa dami rin kasi ng dentist dito na lang, consider na natin, Quezon City pa lang, we are already 1,500. Oo, so
sa
masyado
area,
marami kami.
What area? Like
so,
Project 4 area?
Ka,
QC area? Are we talking about QC or just Project 4?
QC area. QC area. So, napaka-competitive. So, the reason why kung paano rin ako nag-survive with my practice is I always put myself dun sa position ng patient. I want something na hindi ganun kamahal, pero tama yung procedures na ginagawa. So, doon ako nag-invest. I invested on good materials, pero hindi ko sinisingil ang pasyente ko ng sobrang taas. Enough na alam ko na would be reasonable for the patient. Kasi kung ako man nandun, ay ganun kamahal, ayoko na. So somehow, doon ko na-establish yung practice ko. Now, considering na ang dami namin ina-acquire just for this prevention na mag-spread itong virus na to, actually, lahat kaming dentist nasa limbo at the moment. Kasi how can you charge, okay, itong location ko, this is not a class A, class B location. What the patients that I have here, o sabihin natin, minsan may B, minsan may C. So I cannot charge them 1,000 to 1,500 just for the extraction. In order to compensate for the materials and for the equipment that yung bagong bili na, yung bago kong in-acquire. So lalaro na naman ako eh. Usually I charge, sa akin sa clinic, I only charge 500, 600 for a simple extraction. Ngayon, hindi na pwede yon kasi considering na nag-acquire ako ng PPE, even yung mag-a-assist sa akin, may PPE and all the equipments na nandun. So, pwede akong magtaas siguro not more than 900. Ang sa akin kasi, bakit ko babawiin sa pasyente ko kaagad lahat ng inilabas ko? Na pwede ko naman unti-untiin, at least merong ang logic ko kasi sa business sa dental, di baling mababa basta madami. Rather than I'll be having 1, 2 patients, ang mahal nga ng singil ko, pero hanggang doon na lang yung pasyente ko. So, at the same time, nag-enjoy din naman, natutuwa din naman yung mga pasyente because nakukuha nila yung gusto nila without spending that much.
So, mas enjoyable yung extraction experience sa'yo kasi sa iba. kasi mura lang eh. But ako only enjoy magpabunot kasi 500 lang.
Please let us know when you open because you reminded me that I need to go to the dentist more regularly. Another question I had was, do you have dialysis machines?
No. My partner is planning to have that also. Sabi ko, not at this time. We can do that, pero not at this time. Kumbaga, before we jump into another one, gusto ko muna stable lahat.
Okay. Because I have heard like that one is like, I don't know how I feel about it. It's like one of those things that there's some machines that like their patients go to regularly. They have to, right? So you have a ready customer. On the other hand, I don't know. I feel like the flip side, it's like
It's a good
uh,
business also.
it's a good business, but I also feel like I don't know how I would feel about it, especially if I have a patient who comes in and he can't afford it. I don't know how I'd feel. It's a very but yet you're providing a service that you're providing the
Mm.
service and you have to
Actually,
pay for the machine.
But
mm,
I
So
think when it comes to charging dialysis patients, I think it's a part of it is being covered by PhilHealth. So
still
they
help.
oh, it
really,
Yes,
yeah,
is.
they don't really
yes.
spend too much, especially
Sometimes,
Oh, okay, okay.
the
sometimes they get it
indigent
for
ones.
free.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Oh,
Yes,
There you
you
go.
should totally do it then.
not at this time. Soon.
And so has your so your rates probably has gone up for your CrossMedica because you have to do all these extra procedures now. Everyone has to be wearing PPA masks, and
Yes,
you have home service. Wow, that's tough.
yes.
Do you see? Do you think there's as a doctor? I'm not a doctor. Rachel is a doctor technically.
I'm not a doctor. Olive is
You're
the doctor. I'm not.
don't you have a doctor in your
I'm just
title?
a co-host.
But as a doctor, what do you think of this COVID? Do you think this will, in your professional opinion, do you think this will just stop at some point? Do you think you'll be needing those face pumps forever till for the next 30 years? Do you think this will be six
Okay.
months and then back to normal? What do you think?
On a professional level, but I want to include my personal level opinion about the
Why?
virus. I don't think they'll be able to eradicate or remove the virus right away. It will take a long time. Why? Okay, let's say they are already starting with the clinical trials of all of the vaccines for this one. But doing trials will take years. Just like what happened with Dengvaxa. Diba? They immediately use the vaccine, what happened? It caused more harm than
Very
good dun
good.
sa mga patients. So sabi ko nga, if there will be a vaccine, I will not have myself vaccinated. I need a longer study on this virus before I put
Good, i-
myself.
good idea. But not only that,
Paunahin mo
right?
muna yung iba. Wait and see.
But not only that, doctor, right? Like because even if they have a vaccine after 2 to 3 years, wouldn't the virus have mutated already? Because this
Mutated.
is COVID-19, right? That means, well, it doesn't mean there were 19 COVIDs. It just means came out 2019. But it means that there was an other versions of COVID. There's other versions of corona respiratory viruses. So
Actually, from their study right now, I think they have already found out several strains. So there has been mutations already.
So, and that means you can get reinfected, right? Because you could get a different strain. So, this are we saying this is our new normal? I hope not. I miss going to the movies and restaurants and malls. But is this our new
Actually,
normal forever?
yes, this is our new normal. And we
Heaven
cannot,
for
no, and nobody can really say up to when.
oh my goodness, that's kind of
Olive,
depressing.
your CrossMedica is offering rapid testing. Tama ba?
Yeah, rapid
So,
testing
tell us about
for,
that.
okay, since
It's a good question.
we're licensed secondary laboratory wherein serology is included. And COVID or the test for COVID is under serology. So we can do the test. And at present kasi, wala pang direct guidelines talaga. The only guidelines that DOH released is for the PCR and that's for the swabbing. So since they allowed us to use or to do the testing, so we offer it sa mga pumupunta sa clinic or sometimes or most of the time itong past week and this coming week we go to different sites. We go to their office, the construction sites we're doing 300 tests a day.
Wow.
Kasi they cannot start dun sa work nila not until they are kumbaga
Tested.
na-assess yung status ng pasyente.
So can anyone go to your clinic and have herself tested?
Yes,
for example, okay, I have a practical question. So, right now, our maids, usually mga maids namin stay out. But with the easing of the community quarantine, we really need them back kasi akala ko na caregiver for my mom. Pero we're also worried about, nako, baka infected sila. So, now I found out na you're doing rapid testing. So, I can send them to you for a rapid test just, to make sure na when they come back to our house, wala silang virus.
Ito lang yan, Rachel. As of now, there are only two tests that can be done. Rapid testing and the PCR. Okay, ano ba ang flaws or hanggang saan lang ba si rapid testing? Ang rapid testing is only applicable for this day if the test will be done today. Okay, by tomorrow, kung lumabas na naman sa, it's another story, diba? Possible na makuha niya yung virus, so iba na naman yung magiging ano niya.
Okay.
So, what we're seeing here, ito yung napapansin ko sa mga construction sites na pinupuntahan namin. Once a person is tested, okay, and it came out negative, they don't let that person go out of the site anymore. Talagang nakalock-in na, magtrabaho na sila doon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, kung gusto nilang lumabas, they have to do the testing again.
How much
Once they
is the
come back.
test? How much would it cost, the testing?
Okay. Labas
If someone
kasi,
walked into your clinic,
so clinic namin, we just started at 1,500. It's an
that's a rapid test.
Yes, it's an IgG IgM test. So
And-
sa iba kasi lumalabas na parang 2,000 to 2,500.
How long does the test take? What's in? You inject someone, get some blood or something.
Yes. Okay.
And how long? How
what
long?
we're doing in the clinic, we don't do the pricking. Kasi nagkakaroon ng problem with the results. So what we do, we get blood from the veins, the venous blood. Just like doing your typical CBC.
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit scared of needles, just a little bit.
Me also.
And how long does the entire test take? Will you know like in 30 minutes?
The test in 15 minutes, you'll have a result already.
On a given day, how many patients how many patients go to your clinic for the rapid test?
This past week, we're having the most
Ano yung
number
daily
of
average
patients.
mo?
It's between 20 to 40
Wow.
a day for the rapid testing.
And how accurate is that? Because you say there are two tests, right? So I assume they have different cost benefit to them.
Yes,
So is one more accurate than the other?
No, kasi since we are having problems with how people can acquire the rapid testing. The PCR, the swabbing. Kasi limited lang eh. So the government, DOH, okay, ang ginawa nila, those who will come out positive dun sa rapid testing, yun yung i-undergo nila na swabbing. Kasi nowadays, you cannot just go to a testing area, okay, I want my swabbing done. Hindi pwedeng ganun eh. May protocol na pinasusunod si DOH. You have to undergo rapid testing first.
For screening purposes lang kasi yan.
Tapos, pag nag-positive ka for IgM, which means that you're having the infection right now, yung active yung infection, that's the time you can have a schedule for the swabbing.
But why is it because the swabbing is the fewer materials?
Yes, and medyo expensive siya.
But if the PTR says you have it, what's the point of swabbing? To say, yes, you really have it? What's the point?
Yes, for confirmatory. For confirmatory. Now, if you're going to ask me, how reliable are these testing kits? The only answer I can give is, we have nothing but to use the rapid test kasi we have no other choice.
Is the rapid test made here in the Philippines? That's why there's more of them?
No, mostly are made in China. The ones that I'm using, there's also rapid tests that came from US, Korea, Australia, and China. But most of the testing kits came from China.
But there are a lot of them. That's why we
Yeah.
can do rapid test any number.
Yeah,
And the
but you
swabbing
have
is
to be careful with choosing the right rapid test. Kasi there's a lot eh. FDA approved a lot. Ang problema, there's no long study that was done on this rapid test. So, ang criteria nila before, in order to be approved by FDA, as long as na-certify na this was used abroad in other countries, they allowed it to be used here already.
Pero
Without
have,
even checking yung sensitivity ng test.
will you have access to test kits coming from the US, Korea, and other countries? Let's say,
Yes.
pwede ba mag-request yung pasyente? Like for example, ako, I don't trust a test that would come from China. Because sa Europe, they found out it's faulty, so they stopped using it. May pera ako, sabi ko, Dr. Olive, ayoko nang galing China. Gusto ko made in the USA na test
Hindi.
kit. Is that
Mahirap
possible?
kasi, it's possible kung meron akong stock. But, ang ano naman namin, ang protocol naman namin sa clinic, we don't just use kung ano yung meron. We have to choose kung ano yung magiging reliable. Kasi at stake din dito yung name ng CrosMedica. Kasi the results that we give out, pangalan ng clinic. So we have to choose the right or yung reliable na mga test
So,
kits.
what would be the criteria for knowing which is the most reliable?
High sensitivity and specificity.
Or meron
Yun
or do you have a trusted brand? Itong brand na to, okay yan, trusted yan.
Actually, I'm using 2 brands now. Both came from China. Pero maganda naman yung outcome ng result. Kasi what we're doing also, we're doing paralleling. Kunyari, okay, this patient became positive dito sa test kit na to. We use another test kit. Just to make sure na tama yung result nung ginamit namin unang test kit. And pareho lang din naman na nagiging results nila.
And Rachel, I'd like to also point out there are a lot of bad brands in China, but there are also a lot of good brands. I think a lot of the iPhones, right? The high-end iPhones are made in China. So right? That's the factory.
Pero may US standards silang pina-follow.
Yes, but they follow the US standards exactly.
Rachel,
But
I
still
used
China.
I used a US brand parang 2 weeks ago in one company in Marikina. One patient tested for IgM positive. Nag-positive siya. So, ang ginawa namin, we had him scheduled agad for swabbing the following day. After a few days, you know what? The result came out. Negative siya for COVID.
Anong brand yan? Sabi mo ako, ano brand?
US.
Very specific brand para maiwasan.
Basta US.
I-message mo sa akin mamaya.
Do we are people I don't think even we'd have access, Rachel, with these kits. We don't have access to it. We can't buy it, right? It has to go through a medical laboratory, right?
Actually, that's the sad thing about this rapid test. They are being sold online.
Yeah.
I have one client sa Valenzuela naman. So sometimes kung the company bought the test kit, what we provide is the service. We do the testing. Kami ang nag-administer ng testing. And first, every time na merong makikipag-usap sa aking client, the first thing that I always ask is, what brand did you buy? Kasi if you're going to buy the brand that I don't use, hindi ko na lang din gagawin yung test. It's not about earning. It's more of yung maitutulong ko rin dun sa mga tao nila, sa company nila, na maipoprovide namin ng tama yung information na gusto nilang makuha. Coming from the test kit.
And also to protect your business kasi your name is, your reputation is at stake.
Yes. Kaya lang, siyempre, meron kasi mga mura na nagiging problema, mali, iba yung information na nakalagay sa packaging, pero once you do the test, iba naman yung nilalabas niya.
But would wouldn't what eventually would happen is that eventually everyone will get some version of COVID, and then if everyone gets some version of COVID, then pretty much everyone. I'm not saying everyone will be immune, but we'll have herd immunity by default. It's like if enough people have it, then it will really drastically slow its respread. Wouldn't that be the case?
What I'm seeing right now with the tests that I have done with different companies, okay, we're talking of 300 patients a day. Most of the patients that got positive for this COVID, they had the infection but they didn't know kasi they have no symptoms. Di ba?
How
Mas
many?
nakakatakot.
What percentage of them had it out of 300?
Out of the
10%?
300, let's say 10%.
10% had it, and they didn't know it.
Yes. And sometimes they are even positive on, they have the infection right that very moment when we were doing the test and still no symptoms. So consider
Okay.
isang tao, he's positive. Ilang tao yung nakokontak niya? Let's say 10. So you're just transmitting the virus dun sa 10. So
Right.
dapat kasi the government should be doing something about this.
Like
Yung
mass
sinasabi-
testing?
Yes, mass testing, isolate everybody is positive, doon natin matitigil yung virus. Or somehow, mapipigilan kumalat pa.
But let me go back to the other example first. Yes, I agree with you. But the other example, if let's say 10% of the 300 are infected, right? And then let's assume at any one point 10% are infected. After a certain amount of time, after a few months, they would have all been infected at some point. Then
Yes.
at that point, it doesn't matter anymore, right? Or would it still matter? Because at some point,
Lahat
like 1 year down the
infected.
road, all 300 would have been infected at some point.
Yes. But
So,
ang nagiging concern kasi, it's just going around.
It'll just come back again?
Yes. Kaya ang
Oh.
ginagawa sa mga ibang company, once you're tested, especially for construction sites, once you're tested, dun ka lang sa loob ng site. They will not allow you to go out.
That's not sustainable. I mean, you can sustain it for only a certain amount of time. Unless you do the whole Philippines.
Until after the construction is finished, which might
Yes.
take months.
After the construction, that's the only time that they can go home. Or otherwise, they have to spend for their own testing. Hindi nasagot ni company.
How do you sustain that? I don't know. And even like, for example, other countries, like they lock down well, right?
Mhm.
Not all countries do, unless you make your borders like no one can go, or you make swabbing a routine for every person coming to your country. I just don't see. I don't see a solution. I don't know how to do it.
Actually, the government doesn't have any solution yet. The only
Even
thing
if
that
you-
they can do right now is just to what?
Even
Actually,
if you mass test everyone, right?
the world doesn't have a solution.
Yeah, it's not only the Philippines.
It's the world. It's a world's it's our world's problem. So
Okay, so I want Dr. Olivia for a solution then. For now, but if you have one, let us know.
we'll have
Maybe
a
you'll
part
think
2
a
of this
solution.
for if you find a solution.
Yeah.
Spill it
It's
here
just-
first.
It's just a crazy time, and then even Dr. Rachel's, her patients,
Baka
her.
magdemanda ako niyan.
Not yun,
Now I'm
I
just a co-host.
okay. But yeah, all these businesses being affected, it just breaks my heart. It's just not the businesses. When I say the businesses, I mean the owners and the employees. It's people's jobs also. And
Yes, but the only thing that I always tell my staff, okay, we are just trying to survive.
Olive, how many staff do you have?
I have 16.
Wow. That's
Did you ever imagine? Did you ever, when you were in high school, did you ever say, I'm gonna own a business. I'm
No.
going to be.
Actually, during high school, all I want to do is finish studying me, without even knowing what I am going to be kung makakatapos ako ng college. And I didn't even know what I will take in college. I just followed what my mom wants.
So she was the one who
Oh.
wanted you to take up dentistry?
Yes.
Oh, kasi yun din yung question ko, why did you become a dentist? Are you happy that you followed her advice?
Yes.
Mother's knows
She-
best ba?
Whatever my mom did to me, somehow I was able to do it also to my daughters. So my eldest is a dentist already, and she has 2 clinics already.
Wow.
Wow. Does she practice? Does she help out in your business? Does she practice there also? Does she have a clinic there in
No, she has
CrosMedica?
her own. She has 2, one in Manila and one in Cubao.
She alternates between them. So, what's your plan for the future? What do you wanna? How do you wanna change? What? Or I guess maybe that's not a good question to ask in these times. I usually ask that before, but maybe not now because now I think you're just basically in survival mode
Yes,
and see
survival.
how it goes.
So siguro na lang the question to ask is, what do you do in order to survive on a day-to-day basis?
And what do you do for
I've
fun? And what do you do? What do you do for fun also? Yeah, on a related note.
Nowadays, for fun, before I used to do HIIT and I do biking, but since my schedule's too tight, I can't even do one
So
because
what
I
do you
have
do
to
to
wake
survive?
up to
What do you do to
survive.
survive? Yeah, you just wake up. You wake up, go work, come home. That's
Yes,
your routine now every day.
yes.
Gosh, it's very
Just take
disruptive,
it
man.
one day at a time. I think for
Mm.
all of us, that's what we are doing now. Just take it one day at a time.
Kasi if ever siguro na malampasan natin itong pandemic na to, that's the time na I will try to set goals again. Okay? Better goals than survival. Pero at this point, it's just merely
Just
survival.
survival. We'll ask you. We'll ask you during the part 2 of this one of these days.
Ooh,
Rachel
yeah,
already.
part
Rachel already volunteered. Looks like.
two. Okay, when are we going to meet? Like, set a date.
I'm
You
always
said.
We'll see if after 6 months we all have survived.
You know,
Oh.
I want this. I want to redo. I want to do these interviews live again. I mean, I like. This is great, but I miss the live, being in the same studio with other people. I miss that.
The only thing that you have to put in mind, okay? Treat everybody like that. Everybody has the virus. Kaya
Maybe
wag
we
mo
should.
na.
Maybe if we go for live, we just take the PPE
At the
test.
test. Or you wear the PPE, yes.
The PP. What's the rapid test? We all do the rapid test or with a mask or something.
Yes.
Or, I know this is just gonna be tough until
Yeah.
this is over.
Yung new normal is really hard. But
Okay.
we don't have any choice. Eh. We just need to
I'm-
follow what's the new normal.
Well, I'm glad you're adapting. I'm glad you're surviving and doing what you can for yourself and for your employees, and I applaud you for that. And providing a valuable service. This is a valuable service. Actually, I'm actually seriously considering maybe we should do that. I don't know. We could do it in the office, but then when they go home and they come back the next day, it's back to square zero again, right? Unless I
Yes.
make them stay in the office, in which case they'll probably what's the word? Murder me for abuse.
And
Or
what
something.
other companies are doing is they are doing shifting. Kumbaga, for this week, kasi we cannot do 100% ng workforce eh. So, you
Yeah.
divide your employees into 2. 1 month will work na walang uwian. Then, mag-shift. That's the only time that they can go home pag nagkaroon na ng shifting.
I don't think our office can accommodate all those people living there. Gosh, I really don't know what to do.
Or, you just practice yung a good hygiene. That will
Good hygiene,
be of
yeah.
good help.
Yeah. I think it works in construction because they're making a building, so they definitely have the room.
Mm-hmm.
But I
They have
don't,
their
but not,
barrack.
they have a barracks, but not necessarily for an office setting.
Yes.
Well, one of these days. Okay, I have no other questions. Do you have any questions, Miss Rachel?
No, maybe just my last word. Siguro, I think I'm speaking for the rest of our batchmates when I say
Batches.
that we're also proud of Olive, of
Were you
what.
were you so much of a troublemaker, Olive? I have a feeling like you were like the last person anyone expected. It's like
You just take it from what you said earlier. Na everybody pag nakita siya ngayon, gulat na gulat. From
Actually, my
our
teachers are not
batchmates
the
teachers.
regular teachers. My
Sorry.
teachers are Mrs. Borja and Miss Gutierrez, the principal and the
Ah.
assistant principal.
Oh,
That's my
really? You were
classmate.
that much of a trouble. I have a feeling you
Are
were.
they still around? Have are they? I mean, I'm sorry, but are they still around? Have they witnessed the success that you have achieved?
Actually, it's only Mrs. Borja who's still alive.
And
And
Oh.
she's in Bohol.
she knows that
Yeah, she
what you
got
are
shocked
doing
when
now.
she saw me
Wow,
during one of
wow.
the reunions.
So congratulations, Olive, for your success. You're so inspirational. You're aspirational. Siguro, has Stella invited you to give some inspirational talks
Yeah,
before?
before. Yes.
Before, so sana in the future then when we all can go out and do the usual things that we used to do. So yeah, it's nice to hear. Well, sana to hear the whole story of Olive's journey
Okay.
to success. So anyway, congratulations and
So
Thank
in my
you.
happy we
mind,
had
Miss
this
Olive,
conversation.
in my mind, Miss Olive, I imagine you standing in flag ceremony in the middle, and the principal saying, "Don't be like her, don't be like her," and then now you're here. So good. That's the story I have in my mind now. That's how much of a troublemaker you were.
Di naman ganun
The,
Congratulations.
ka-harsh.
the exact scenario is this. After the flag ceremony, we go to the classroom. Di ba, tahimik yung corridor kasi lahat nag-settle in na. I
Yeah.
would hear footsteps. And I know that person's going to pick me up to be brought to the principal's office. That's how.
Bakit? Anong ginawa?
What did you do?
Ewan ko, parang
During
feeling
the
siguro
flag
naman-
ceremony, may ginawa ka ba so that you
They're
would be
picking on you. They're
parang
picking on.
may warrant of arrest ba?
ang learning lang naman dyan is, I just enjoyed my life. Did what I want to do, and whatever repercussions that came in with the actions that I did, I just became more strong and more responsible.
And you're a successful business owner. And I would like to point out, in my book, I think you're a successful parent. One of the factors of that is that I noticed that if the kid takes a job, one of your kids takes the job of the parent, could also be because they're interested in it. But a lot of it is like if your
They
kids
follow your
really
footsteps.
don't like you, they will do everything they can not to be like you. But the fact that one of your kids wanted to be a dentist shows that she was interested, and because you portrayed that the life you gave her a life that she can try and follow, footsteps that she could follow, that she wanted to.
And
So
sa
you
akin lang
must be a
naman
good
kasi
mom.
thank you. I just set myself as an example for my kids, for all my
And
ups and downs.
and she followed it, and one of them followed it. Yeah, how many kids do you have? Two kids?
I
One?
have four.
Four. What are their jobs, if I may? What are their
Uh,
careers?
the eldest is a dentist. The second one is a manager at Hilton, Manila. My third, she's a second year proper dentistry also. And my youngest is a second year student, medical technology.
See,
So I don't have
see,
to wear anything.
that means that in my book that you're a good parent. They saw what you did and they wanted to follow. I assume they chose that on their own, right?
No,
You seem like you forced them to.
I decided for them. Kasi ang
Okay.
reason,
Just like what your mother did to you.
Well, because your
yeah,
mother did, and it
ang
worked out.
reason ko lang naman kasi, ang hirap makakuha ng stable na work.
No,
What
and
they need to do is just finish and yung work is waiting for them. Yun ang
I
parati
also
kong sinasabi sa kanila.
I also think that you can't force your kid. If they really don't want to, they won't. But the fact that they're willing to means they see the value in your. Because my mom didn't want me to be a programmer. She said, "What are you gonna do? Just make games all day?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be my job." But she let me. To her credit, she let me. She wanted me to take business management. But
Mm.
anyway, and how about you, Rachel? Just while we're on the topic, what did your mom wanted you to take up?
She, no, she didn't have any influence
Any strong
whatsoever.
opinions?
She didn't have
Ah,
any influence whatsoever.
wow. Okay, okay.
Ay, bahala ka sa buhay mo.
Para sa
Mga ganong, mga
Ganon.
ganong style ng parenting niya. Bahala ka sa buhay mo.
Well, on that note, thank you for being our guest, and hopefully this things get better. Things get
Yes,
better soon for everyone.
for all of us.